front if you want. Good evening, bonjour, vanakkam. So we have Arnab here today with us. He's come, he's not familiar, I mean, he's very familiar to Auroville. And he has generously every time spent time to screen his works with us to share what he has contributed. And once again today, we have him screening the movie KOHAM SOHAM, based on Sri Rabindranath Tagore's poems. So, Sri Aurobindo, sorry, extremely sorry about that. I'm going to invite Arnab to just give us a little bit introduction to what this movie is all about. It's a 45-minute movie, and post that, if there is any question and answers, if there's something that you would like to know more about, he's more than happy, because this has been a collaboration of 50 people across the globe. So in that sense, it's truly a movie on bringing in artists from different countries and different nations. And we're really, really privileged to be able to have that right here in midst of us. So over to you, Arnab.
Thank you. So it's an honor to present our collective fruit of love, let's put it that way, with 50 artists. Some of the artists are from the ashram, some of them are from Auroville, and across India, across Europe, Russia, and US. So what has brought us together is the poem Who, the point of its inspiration, and more importantly is that what does Who present or represent? Essentially, it's about self-inquiry towards the self. The first S is small, the second S is capital. It's all about, and this is this mechanism or this methodology of asking ourselves questions and finding the answers again within. So it's a recursive process that keeps happening through this amazing poem that Sri Aurobindo wrote. In fact, I went to Sri Aurobindo Ashram's archives to figure out the exact date. We don't have the exact date. So the two poems, Invitation and Who, were written in 1909. Invitation was definitely written within his whole experience while he was in Alipur jail. And Who was also written round about that time. And apart from this, historically what is very important is that this poem was written round about his famous Uttarpada speech, where he spoke for the first time about his yogic experiences out in public. So in a way, it's a transition from Sri Aurobindo, the revolutionary leader, to the evolutionary leader. So, so this poem kind of caught my attention probably when I was a kid, while growing up in the ashram school. And my grandfather used to read a lot of poems and Savitri. He was a writer himself. So that's how it happened. And you have to let the poem grow into you. So that's been the process. And along with the musicians and visual artists, it's all about, we did a lot of immersive exercises to get into that state of reception. So, and we will obviously create workshops out of this, Know Your Rhythm workshops, which is a training program and methodology based on integral yoga. And so this will be a tool for it. And I think I'm letting out too much. Let's watch the film and then let's immerse ourselves. Thank you. We will obviously create workshops out of it.
in the blue of the sky, in the green of the forest. Whose is the hand that has painted the glow? When the winds were asleep in the womb of the ether, who was it roused them and bade them to blow? He is lost in the heart, in the cavern of nature. He is found in the brain, where he builds up the thought. In the pattern and bloom of the flowers, he is woven. In the luminous net of the stars, he is caught. In the strength of a man, in the beauty of woman, in the laugh of a boy, in the blush of a girl, the hand that sent Jupiter spinning through heaven spends all its cunning to fashion a curl. These are his works, and his veils and his shadows. But where is he then? By what name is he known? Is he Brahma or Vishnu, a man or a woman, bodied or bodiless, twin or alone? We have love for a boy who is dark and resplendent. A woman is lord of us, naked and fierce. We have seen him amuse on the snow of the mountains. We have watched him at work in the heart of the spheres. We will tell the whole world of his ways and his cunning. He has rapture of torture and passion and pain. He delights in our sorrow and drives us to weeping, then lures with his joy and his beauty again. All music is only the sound of his laughter. All beauty, the smile of his passionate bliss. Our lives are his heartbeats, our rapture the bridal of Radha and Krishna. Our love is their kiss. He is strength that is loud in the blare of the trumpets, and he rides in the car, and he strikes in the spears. He slays without stint, and is full of compassion. He wars for the world and its ultimate years. In the sweep of the worlds, in the surge of the ages, ineffable, mighty, majestic and pure, beyond the last pinnacle seized by the thinker, he is throned in his seats that forever endure. The master of man and his infinite lover, he is close to our hearts, had we vision to see. We are blind with our pride and the pomp of our passions. We are bound in our thoughts, where we hold ourselves free. It is he in the sun who is ageless and deathless, and into the midnight his shadow is thrown. When darkness was blind and engulfed within darkness, he was seated within it, immense and alone.
रसो मधुमत्पातिरं रज मधुयोरस्तु नः पिता
अंतरिक्षं शान्ति पृथिवी शान्ति आपः शान्ति ओषधयः शान्ति वनस्पतयः शान्ति विश्वे देवा शान्ति ब्रह्म शान्ति सर्वं शान्ति
Thank you for that beautiful, beautiful screening. And if any of you have any questions or would like to know more, what's been the inspiration behind this, feel free. Arnab is here, and he'll be happy to take any questions, happy to share anything more that you would like to know. So,
Thank you. Sudha? Yes.
Do I start over?
Sure.
Okay. The background on all of that, it said NASA stock footage. So was that all taken on the Voyager?
This all the about 98-95% of the visuals that you get to see is from raw footage from the NASA Public Archives and ESA, the European Space Agency. And then we had to stitch it all together. So it's like weaving a tapestry of space. So the idea was that why not use the visual leitmotifs that the One has created to explore your inner space with outer space. So a lot of it came from the Hubble telescope, in fact. A space is not all black. There's a lot of it there. There's a lot of things out there. And that's the beauty of things. You know, when you see infrared, when you see the solar flares towards the end with the two shlokas, probably the most prominent shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, I mean, you get to really see the sun in action.
Yes,
This is the most brilliant work I've seen. I can't thank you enough for bringing this. It's the most brilliant work, and the way composition has been shown on the big screen. It's a big screen experience. You cannot have it on your screen. You cannot have this thing on your mobile. And I remember you had sent me the link, and what I'm experiencing in right now is phenomenal. Imagine that there is a 20-meter screen and in the open space or a big hall. What can it do? It just alters the space of consciousness. My curiosity to question is that how did you conceive this? To such a large frame to even think like that. And it's of course that mantras and the space in its active motion, it's phenomenal. So where did you get this idea itself?
Well, I think the first and foremost thing is that when the title comes in, you see, if you just ponder or contemplate on the title itself, KOHAM SOHAM, KOHAM SOHAM, who am I am that. You see, that itself, just for a moment, close your eyes and just contemplate, who am I am that. So that was my litmus test. Every time I thought that I might be going a little wayward, that's the best way to get back to the center. And the poem itself, if one dives more and more, it's like an never-ending space. And it seems on the surface very simple, but it's probably not. It's very multi-layered. Yes, extremely vast. And this is a work of 5 years, spread across 5 years. So the 50 artists who came together did not just come in one go. It took a lot of conversations. So composition sessions, when we did them, we actually underwent immersive exercises to get us into a space where we would receive and then channelize. So you get to listen a wide variety, a genre of music, if you see from a technical, pedagogical perspective, from ragas to very modern, and also lots of confluences coming together. And yet there is extremely pure Vedic chanting there. So there's training of the chanters. I don't know if any of the chanters from Auroville are here, a Dakshina chanting group. We did a whole project spread across 6 weeks in Savitri Bhavan, about 100 hours of Know Your Rhythm training, to get into the space of Bhagavad Gita. And then this is what came out as a distillation of a distillation of a distillation. Yeah.
I'm not going to the deep analysis of this film, but overall, the impression just I felt now, I just felt breathless. In between, there is no pace to the mind to think this side or that side. This is a very high speed going to the take oneself very high. And the theme, what you are giving is something above the mind, some link is there, but the scenery, all this art, everything, what I see, little bit mental things you want to express the what is beyond mental. Am I right? I don't know. But anyway, I feel very breathless feeling about this system of program. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And coming back to one more point that Uma pointed out, it's definitely meant for the big screen, and that's what we experienced at Ashram's playground. Open air with 600 seekers together. Pin drop silence. Age ranging from 7 to 80 plus. So it's meant for that, although at the same time we have it on for the mobile screen, and also we've kept it in parts, or rather I would call them movements, you know, from a musical perspective, but parts because for a general audience, they don't often know what movement is. Yeah.
Could I just, first of all, thank you so much. It's a brilliant work, and thank you for initiating it and all that work that it must have been, I'm sure. I don't want to say anything negative about it, but from a technical perspective, I just would ask you why in the very first speaker there is no text and his English is not that good. So the people that hear the first section do not get the poem.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if you considered that, and I would wonder why you didn't put the text for the first section, because you put it for, you know, it was there.
Yeah. So, yeah, thank you for pointing things out, because there's a whole structure, there's a methodology for this entire immersive experience. The prelude introduces, or prelude or alap. Alap is the first movement of Indian classical music, or it's called conversation. So it's a way to introduce you to the poem. The poem is read out by Jumurdi, who is a very senior theater actor trained by the mother. Yeah, and a teacher of Savitri and English poetry of Sri Aurobindo. And the reason for not keeping the text there is that I wanted the seeker to get a feel without getting limited by, in this case, specific case, with the text. Just a more of an auditory visual experience, but later on, it's kind of a different space takes over, where I don't want to get any voice. It should be probably your inner voice which needs to recite to itself. Initially, the first pilot of the film, we didn't have the recitation. And we actually did a test, a very short film we made of 20 odd minutes, and we tested out with the youngest members, the children, because they're the most honest viewers, seekers. They will not be polite and say that this is not good or that is good. They will just say, I don't like it or I like it, right? So we did series of workshops to test whether our prototype is on course. At last school, Mirambika school and Ashram school, at different age groups, with fine arts. That means with visuals. Kids wrote their own poem. And we observed very, very, very minutely what was their response. It gave us also a roadmap how to move forward. It refined our roadmap, in fact. So a shorter film was there. And then we realized that given the fact that our attention spans are growing smaller and smaller like our mobile screens, we need probably the recitation just to give people or the general seekers who are not yet been or have not immersed themselves into integral yoga, just a bit of introduction so that they get a hand-holding space and then move into where there's no more recitation, the three movements of multiplicity, attributes, and enlightenment.
Thank you very much for that explanation, but actually my point is slightly different because the clarity, I don't know who that man was, and maybe he was chosen because for his position, but his voice does not match the quality of the poem. And I mean, you can ask other people in here, I mean, not just, I mean, that's only my opinion,
Sure, yeah.
that it would give the film much more power if you had a better voice for that first recitation. That's all.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just felt really that feeling of infinity. And as you say, that you immerse into it, and with all the movements, like the volcanic eruption, you know, the light, the beautiful colors. It was just, we were taken by the beauty of the movements that is in the space, and also at the same time moving out and inward, as you said. Through the movements we could feel that, and sometimes you see images, imagine like last image I felt there was like the lion, and with you know, the goddess Durga on it, and there was another moment shown, though you have shown twice the image, but also in the movements of the space, you could feel there is some presence there, you know. So thank you so much,
Thank
really.
you.
It was wonderful. And we really wish you all the best, and many, many people will see and appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you speak a little more about movements? Like you said, people wouldn't understand what the movements are, and you said it would be better in parts. But if you could explain or describe more about the movements and the relation with the title and the images or the visuals you have shown, that would be really helpful.
I mean, if you see right in the opening title, we're calling oratorio to who. Now, those of us who follow Western classical music, oratorio essentially is sacred music set to sacred text, and which is sung, right? What I have done here is attempted, let's put it, stretched that definition or description of oratorio, where the poem is not sung. You need to feel the song inside while you watch the audio visual that's going on, the immersive experience. And if you look at any symphony, if you see, you'll see movements. These are units of music. Let's put it, there are movements of music. Do you follow Western classical music? Okay, so next time you Google on YouTube, just have a look. So those are movements. It's a structural unit of Western classical music. So you do have movements within Western classical music. In this case, the movement is centered on the poem's movement. And that defines the music as well as the visuals. And the visual leitmotifs also play a big role. what she saw in terms of Mother Durga is intentional. We wanted to give, some people have felt it is Kalki avatar, some people have felt Mother Durga, but there are several times which keeps coming back in a recursive way to show that, is that whom we are seeking? And if it's that, I am that. But then you wonder, is that really who? And the question gets more and more recursive. No, what? Not what photography?
Not a trick of photography. Are the
Oh,
pictures
not,
real?
you mean tricks? Well, there is some amount of animation. If you see, there is animation involved in terms of matching the music and the visuals. Their movements need to synchronize to give you an immersive process and experience, yes. Yes, a lot of it is about 95-98%, yes.
That's really hitting me.
Quite a thud.
I was just thinking, I mean, we saw it here. There
Right.
are various places where people are interested in Sri Aurobindo and Mother will see this. But how does the common man get to see this? Because there's a very deep message in it. When you question, who am I? I am that. It's not that easy, but definitely there are a lot of people who are reading philosophy. And how will they get access to this?
See, I lead a training methodology and process called Know Your Rhythm, which is inspired by integral yoga. So, which is based on the yoga of mantra, music, body, sleep, breath. And for example, some of the exercises we've done at Upasana at Uma's place. So, yeah. And so through the workshop, so I'm actually right now designing a workshop which will take this whole film forward via workshops. So it's like a question answer between the workshop and the film. And if you get to the internet, to our website, ninat.in, you will see the film not at one go. It's in parts. That's the reason, because otherwise it gets too overwhelming for a generic audience. That's the reason. Yeah. So thank you, and let's keep immersing.
Thank you so much, Arnab, for that. It was really, really beautiful. And I like the fact that you talked about the multiplicity and the multi-layered. And I think that's a gift to each one of us. And thank you for bringing that distillation of distillation experience. But I think that is very, very profound. So thank you for all that honest work in making it immersive.
Thank you very much.
Thank you everyone for being here, and hope to see you soon back here again. Have a lovely, lovely evening.